So we're at Atkins Arboretum in Maryland, and we're going to take a look at the forest floor right now. This is something that's pretty crucial theme to permaculture. This idea that we imitate nature and that we don't need to use all these artificial high input systems in order to grow food. Now, what does this have to do with the forest floor? It has to do with soil. Soil is created by the combination of decayed or partly decayed organic matter, like dead trees, dead leaves, and minerals, basically ground up rocks, earth. So, in nature, soil is created by forests and by other vegetation that exists in an area, and they drop their leaves and their dead limbs. And this right here, this is still sort of top layer. This is not all the way down into the actual soil. This is sort of the bottom of the mulch that it comes naturally from all these trees. They drop their leaves in the fall, all winter long. The leaves are on the ground. The top ones are still dry and brittle. The further down you go, they get damper, wetter. They start to get broken down. There's little bugs down in here eating them. And when you dig down, you eventually get to good soil. Now we're close to the coast here, and so this is pretty sandy soil, but even then, that's good soil. That's good earth. And so when the Europeans came to this continent, they looked at it and they thought that the natives were just wasting it because there was no farming and there were no big cities. And they didn't realize that the native cultures here had a very advanced perennial food system in the forest. And it was like a food forest, essentially. And they had all their foods figured out. It just didn't look like a farm or garden to Westerners. And so they came in, they cut down all the trees and used them to build logs and railroads and whatever else. Build logs, build log cabins. And a lot of them they had to ship back to the king for his navy, which eventually would be used to fight those same colonists. But whatever the case, they chopped down all the forest and they tilled all of this beautiful forest soil. And so if you were to cut down all these trees and farm in this soil right here, it would be pretty good. You would get pretty good crops out of this soil. But it took this forest hundreds, if not thousands of years to build this soil from all the winters and all the seasons of stuff falling and decaying and creating soil naturally. And it would only take 5-10 years to farm all of the nutrition out of that soil and leave behind denuded land. So in permaculture, we try and imitate nature. We try and grow plots of land, try and grow areas of crop where instead of tearing up the soil and disrupting the soil community, we leave it intact. And where we just add to the top of it and we build our soil from the top down. And we try and use more perennials that don't require you to dig them up and replant them every year. And we try to use polyculture, because you notice there's not just one type of plant growing in this area. This is a whole lot of different species. I'm in an arboretum, and just the number of trees alone in this area is huge. If I can do this one-handed, we'll take a look at the map here. There we go. This is just a list of all the different types of trees and ways to identify them. And so, nature uses diverse systems that self-support each other, and this is the larger reason why civilized agriculture deals with pests, because they don't maintain a natural balance. They don't maintain the dynamics of species that control pests through predators and through really just lack of food. If there's not enough food in one place for pests, bugs, which are usually the pests we deal with, they breed fast. They have short life cycles. So you grow a field of corn or something, and your whole season could be several reproduction cycles for them. And if there's a ton of food around and no predators, they're going to reproduce like crazy. They can reproduce they can multiply themselves over so fast that it's nuts how fast they'll take over. But out here, if a pest gets born, it's got to work hard to find food, and they spread out. They go looking for what they like, and there's bugs, there's birds, there's things that eat them, and they just don't really ever get a footing. When we grow huge fields of crops for modern agriculture, we're basically inviting the pests. We're like, hey, look what we got. Come on out and get it, because they're opportunists. So imitating nature is actually a pretty simple idea, but it goes against so much of what modern humans think and feel about how we're supposed to make it on this earth. We've kind of come to believe that we really just have to fight for everything. We have to fight back the forest at all times, fight back the wolves and kill the wolves so they don't kill our sheep, and we're constantly at war with the forces of nature, which are actually running a much more efficient system than we are. You said it, Froggy.